Welcome back to Lost Legacies.
Oh, a Hidden City Book Company production.
Let's get a little snappy with it here, Matt. We got a lot of ground to cover.
This isn't normally my job.
Silence your cell phones, please. I'm Sam.
I'm Matt.
And we're your hosts.
Yeah.
Man. Well,
three episodes in and I'm still getting used to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. I was like, we've been doing this podcast for a lot longer than 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in once again. Matt and I are coming off of a crazy weekend, yeah, we're here. We're here talking about another episode of Andor. But before we get into that, Matt, what have you been up to? What have you been watching?
Well, first, before we get into it, I'm gonna read you something that I saw on Threads yesterday.
Okay.
It is from someone named Mr. Fascinate,
Okay.
making innovation accessible, keynote speaker, Forbes 30 under 30, and STEM content creator. So I would hope he knows what he's talking about. So anyway, he posts this, and it says, I quote, "Unpopular opinion. There is a large cohort of strong, non-toxic, intelligent, masculine men who don't subscribe to red pill ideology, that don't feel a need to publicize their thoughts on the internet. But an entire generation is missing out on diversity in male role model ideology by not hearing our takes. Fellas, we might have to start speaking up for the betterment of our species." In which I replied, wait. So what you're saying is the solution is more men with podcasts.
No.
Son of a gun, I'm in. Let's do it.
No, we're supposed to be getting away from that. They need to put down the podcast. They need to go learn a trade. Stop giving your opinions on Star Wars. Go to a trade school. We need plumbers. We need lighting technicians.
But we need those people to also talk about their opinions. No, I mean, I get what he's saying. I totally get what he's saying. It's the idiocracy, you know? The idiots are the ones who are talking the loudest and the ones having the most babies. Whereas people with actual common sense and rational thought and education, whether that's actually like a school education or life experience education, they're having less kids, you know? So I'm like, all right, so I get it.
I mean, it's also a combination of a lot of other things, and it's not that there aren't people out there, talking positivity, and talking about the things they love and trying to be good role models. It's that and it's the unfortunate truth that negativity gets more clicks.
Yeah, for sure.
It's why people subscribe to a lot of news sites, so they can get all the news first, all this and that. But any of the positive stuff, it all gets buried. Not enough people are tuning in for the positive side of things, and it's like, yeah.
That's also why you see, like, if you look at the history of podcasting of like the last 10, 15 years, you'll see that like a lot of comedians, male comedians and stuff, they've transitioned from what they originally started as a podcaster into something more political, usually right leaning, you know? And it's like, cause it's the same thing, they couldn't keep up. One, like, podcast, it's almost impossible to make money off a podcast. It's so difficult. So just to stay working and to stay in the business, they've had to shift. And again, the bad news, that's what drives the clicks. Negativity drives the clicks, and they now they're all into politics, and it's just weird, man. So yeah, although there is a lot of people out there who is what we're looking for. Men speaking lots of positivity and stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, they don't get the same. It doesn't get the same traction, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, and it's also like how are they being positive? You know,
Hmm.
I think surprisingly enough, I think we're pretty positive podcast.
Well, yeah, yeah. That was a huge that was a huge reason why we wanted to start this.
Yeah,
Because going back to talking about Lost, you know, I'd never seen it. You had seen it before, and this was a way for us to talk during the pandemic, but also we wanted to spread a little more positivity, and
yeah,
that's kind of been the through line of everything we've done. You see shows that you really love, and you're like, hey,
yeah,
I need to talk about this with Sam. And it's like, yeah, it does feel more like we're not necessarily a review show, but
we try not to be.
yeah, yeah, we try not to be. Those first seasons, kind of rough.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, like we're here, like we're giving just our like opinions about what we're watching, and but we're also talking about stuff like this, and I feel like we bring up a lot of stuff like this. We were
yeah,
talking about updates during the SAG strike,
yeah,
and yeah, when the we also try not to get super political, but I don't think it's a thing that we necessarily avoid either.
yeah,
So it's like, yeah, like we're just trying to spread more positivity by talking about the things that we love
yeah.
genuinely and finding new things to love, because I feel like most of the movies that we bring to, again, one of us has probably seen it and the other hasn't, you know?
That's also like the whole premise of Lost Legacies was to focus on stuff that was either underrated or, in our opinion, misunderstood.
Yeah, yeah.
And for me, that was kind of the big one of the big things about watching Lost again. I really wanted to see how well the ending held up or not.
Hmm.
And the show had a lot of ups and downs as we experienced, but I loved the ending. So it's like everyone who didn't like the ending, I'm sorry, you're just wrong.
Yeah.
Chances are you stopped liking Lost way before you finished
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
So yeah, positivity, introducing new stuff, and don't sue me. I don't
Uh-oh.
remember if it was Hank Green or what's his brother's name?
John.
John Green. Yeah. I clearly have a favorite of the two, but I don't remember
Yeah.
which one it was. It was after especially political day, and he was on online posting like, why do I keep making these videos and stuff while all this other stuff is going on? And he basically summed it up as uh my one goal is to make the world suck a little less.
Mm.
I'm like, yeah, so if that's us talking about Andor, that's what it is. If it's us talking
Yeah.
about Lost, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, and yeah, I like to think that, this is kind of an escape for some people, that they can get away from the real world. But at the same time, man, reality is heavy. So it's going to bleed
Yeah.
into the podcast every now and then. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna bleed into the podcast, and honestly, it's gonna bleed into any aspect uh that you're a part of.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's hard it's hard to ignore it,
Especially
and you
right
definitely
now.
can't escape it.
Especially
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now at this point in history, like what's going on outside of this podcast, it's like it's not just happening outside of our sphere of our world, like it's affecting everyone and is going to affect everyone in a certain way. So it's
yeah,
like, yeah. um and that's how we started the podcast.
yeah.
We were in it, so it kind of feels like we're
Hmm.
in it again. We're in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Into the thick of it, into the thick of it. Is that how it goes, right? Is that the
Yeah,
song? Yeah,
yeah.
okay. What musical is that? Is that Into the Woods?
I think, yeah, I believe
Right?
it's Into the Woods.
Into the thick of it. So, yeah, but back to your initial question. How have I been doing? I've been doing great, man. Doing
Mm,
good.
good.
This past weekend was the last weekend of Fiesta for the year, so
Hmm.
got to enjoy it. Beautiful weather this past weekend.
Mm.
Absolutely loved it, and so it wasn't too hot. Had my annual funnel cake, so I'm good to go for another year.
Yeah.
And got to see family, cousins, both grandmas. So I'm like, man,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it was just very fulfilling, and it's something like I really needed right now. So that's good.
Yeah.
Um, as far as watching, what am I watching? Nothing really. I rewatched Young Frankenstein the other night just cause,
Yeah.
it needed the laughs. And R.I.P. Gene Hackman.
Mm.
You
Yeah, yeah.
forget the movie is so damn funny. You forget he's in it.
Hmm.
Even if
Well,
you
because he's
know
only in that
before.
one scene.
Yeah, and he's not in the opening credits.
Yeah.
So like the movie's so funny, like he just like leaves your mind until he pops out. I was like, oh my God. But man, I thought I had something to talk about, but I didn't. Oh yeah, okay, listeners, if you were here last week, I did not end up watching Sinners
Mm.
this past week. I was gonna take a day off and just handle some business and then go to the movies. I didn't because I got sick the day before.
Yeah.
So on my day off, I didn't get to take a day off. I had to go to work just to
Yeah.
make up the time.
Lame.
Yeah, very lame.
Well, it's still in regular theaters, and apparently they're going to be re-releasing it in did they say
IMAX.
this month?
I think so. I think it's the end of the month.
It's like the end of the month, right?
Yeah,
They're releasing it in IMAX for a couple of days.
yeah,
And my threads timeline was just bumping with like people like sharing their not only their screenshots of
yeah.
their IMAX tickets, but of their IMAX screenings being sold out.
Oh wow,
And I'm like, dude,
I love it.
like, hey, like I guess shout out to, Warner Brothers in theaters for being like, hey, this is doing numbers. Like, yeah, like listening to people
Yeah.
and seeing that like, hey, people do want to go watch this again in IMAX. So,
They're smart. They see that there's definitely more money to be made.
yeah.
It's just like everyone is talking about it, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of been a while since we've had like a movie like this come out.
Hmm.
So, um yeah, I don't know. The fact that it's in theaters is awesome. So I got to check it out before I get anything spoiled. Also got to check out Thunderbolts before that gets spoiled because it's like all over my timeline, so I'm just like not getting on social media right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh yeah. Today we got the trailer for the new Grand Theft Auto 6.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
love it, man. One of the leads is a feisty Latina. I'm like, that's living the dream, man. I gotta go play that game.
Gotta go find your ride or die.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Committing crimes with a feisty Latina at your side. I'm like, I love it. So, yeah, if there's anything else, I'll try and think about it as the episode goes on. But I thought there was just other stuff I had to talk about. I
Okay.
guess not.
Uh, and that's okay because I have a fair few things to talk about.
Hmm.
Uh, all Star Wars related. So we're officially starting the Star Wars talk now. We're gonna kick this off with the dream that I had last night. So, listeners, Matt and I, we're pretty prolific on Fortnite.
Are we?
No, I guess not. We're really not. And please don't go looking for us.
Yeah.
Because I truly this is a thing that I didn't realize until more games started switching to like online co-op and online multiplayer is that I don't like playing with people I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It gives me a lot of anxiety and
Yeah, I get that.
yeah, so I just any games that are like that I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm gonna if anything, if nobody else is on, I will play like solo Fortnite by myself for a couple
Yeah.
of games. Um but yeah, so we're really digging the new season. It's a Star Wars season. Um it's really heavy on sort of like sequel stuff with like the odd sort of like prequel, thing like kind of mixed in there.
But we had those seasons
Uh,
already. This is like the
yeah,
third Star Wars season we've had. We had the prequels and we had the OG trilogy. So now
yeah,
we're into the sequels.
yeah. And it's like, okay, like that's cool.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily hate it. The map is really cool. It's really fun. But listeners, I had a dream last night. I had a dream that Florence of and the Machine fames uh was releasing a new hit single exclusive to Fortnite. And not just any Fortnite, not just the game itself. Like you couldn't just sign up to get it. No, no, no. You had to sign up and specifically play the Lego Star Wars Fortnite just to listen to Florence Welch's new smash hit single, and it wasn't going to be available streaming anywhere else until the end of the season, so like a whole month.
Mm.
uh that was the dream that I had. I don't know what the song sounded like because I was trying to sign in but the server was crashing. um yeah, that was my dream. So I guess it's fair to say i'm i guess i'm I guess Star Wars is back for me, guys. I guess I'm a huge Star Wars fan again.
Yeah.
And especially like it also helps too because like this weekend, Sunday was May the 4th, so
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
May the 4th be with you and all that. Um,
We're filming this on
Revenge of the Sixth.
yeah, today's Revenge of the Sixth.
Yeah,
Hmm.
which technically I also count the fifth as Revenge of the Fifth as well. So they gets
Oh.
2 days for me.
Well, I call that Cinco de Mayo, but
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. Hey, Star Wars is
yeah.
Mexican.
And yeah, it is. And we missed May 2nd, Dos de Mayo, which
Toast to
is
my
you just drink Dos Equis. It's
wow.
exactly the same as Cinco de Mayo, except with Dos Equis.
Well, I watched. I didn't have a great end of the week last week, and I didn't have a great weekend. I got kind of sick, and so I just stayed home most of the day, most of the weekend, and I ended up just watching a lot of the Lego Star Wars stuff because I needed to pick me up. I needed to laugh. If you haven't seen any of the Lego Star Wars projects post the sequels. I think they've only done four or three. They've only done three right now. But they're great. Like they're genuinely fun and great with a lot of character development. And I don't know if they're canon or not, but I feel like they should be. So I watched Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation, which was about Finn, Ray, and Poe, Rose, Chewie, BB-8, and then 3PO and R2. Uh, they're all they're all taking a vacation aboard the Halcyon Star Cruiser before they all go off on their own solo adventures, their own, quests. So this takes place after Rise of Skywalker and all this. Lando is like the hologram who's like welcoming everybody onto the Star Cruiser, and it just made me think. I was like, wow, like this is so interesting because as of now, the Halcyon Star Cruiser at Disney is officially like decommissioned and defunct.
Mhm.
Uh, like I don't know, like this only came out in 2000 or in 2022, so like
If they were
that's
smart, they would have put it
wild,
into Fortnite.
right? That would have been
The
that would have
Star
been so
Cruiser.
rad. The Star
Yeah.
Cruiser,
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, maybe they will in like a season, like next Star Wars
Well, I'm
season.
kind of surprised that they haven't introduced well, it's a whole discussion for another time, but maybe they will. I forgot what planet it is in like the Star Wars land at Disney.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But now that what it's already been a year or two since Disney and Fortnite teamed up,
Hmm.
so they've been working on big stuff to add not just to Fortnite, but like in addition, like they want to do like a whole kind of I don't know virtual kind of world thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
So maybe we actually will see it at some point.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that was fun. It was cute. But the last thing I want to talk about before we get into Andor was I didn't know this was like a series and it's only like 6 episodes or something. But it's Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. And I don't remember if you saw this because last time I mentioned because we were talking about Darth Jar Jar being in Fortnite,
Hmm.
and I said that Lego had already done that.
Yeah.
This is the project.
Hmm.
Rebuild the galaxy. This might be hyperbolic, but Rebuild the Galaxy is one of the best things that Disney has done with Star Wars. It's incredible. It's 5 stars. It is it's I I feel like this has the potential in a lot of ways. This has the potential to actually be a live action sequel film. Like
Interesting.
this story, the thing that they're doing with it, the themes, the emotions, I'm like, this feels so exciting, and it should have been what the sequels,
Hmm. And is
it
this
should have been what
Lego as
this.
well?
Yeah, this is all Lego.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, obviously this is aimed at like kids, and
Hmm.
it's family oriented. Um, and it does delve into like multiverse in a way, but it does it in a way that's completely different from, I feel like, any of the big multiverse movies that we've gotten, like any of the Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
Like it truly does remix the galaxy, and we're there. We're there, and we're seeing just how different things are. And because this one character is not a good guy anymore, this character isn't a bad guy, we're seeing how that changes the
Mm-hmm.
entire dynamic of like of everything. The Jedi Council does not look like any of the Jedi Councils we've ever seen. Uh it's crazy. Tatooine, minor spoiler alert, Tatooine, it's not a sand planet, it's a water planet.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's so cool. Uh yeah, like truly it feels like such a treat for a Star Wars fan to just like look at this and see like this is the thing that I think I was missing from something like Deadpool and Wolverine, where it's like Deadpool and Wolverine is literally showing us like, hey, look at all our toys, look at what we get to play with.
Mhm.
Rebuild the Galaxy is like, hey, look at what we built with all the things we have to play with,
Yeah, yeah,
and let's keep that going.
yeah.
um it doesn't necessarily end on a cliffhanger, but it definitely leaves it open for more, and I'm hoping it gets a second season.
Hmm.
So yeah, if you're a Star Wars fan and you haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend it. Go watch it.
Yeah, man, like it's no secret that like the Lego people are just awesome because
Mhm.
I've watched a lot of like the Batman Legos and like just the DC Lego films,
Yeah,
and they're a lot better than like the Batman animated films, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like those animated films, like they're based off of really popular, successful comics, and the filmmakers like they don't they it's like they don't know how to tell stories, man. Like
Mm,
they take the wrong lessons from the comics, and they just screw up everything. Like I'm not a fan of those animated movies.
yeah,
Um, uh, but the Lego stuff is really cool,
it
and
hits.
a lot of people just kind of write it off. Oh, it's because it's for kids.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, but I think they nailed the characters down a lot
Mhm.
better. Now those animated DC films, like the action scenes look really cool. They can't animate people's faces to save their life.
Yeah,
It's really
yeah,
weird, but they could animate like excellent fight sequences. But yeah, it's just like all of those animated films just kind of leave me, all right.
yeah.
So yeah, check out the what's it called? Is it World's Finest? The Batman Superman, like it's the ones based off the Lego games.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, it's not called World's Finest. What are they called? S Super Friends? Because like the first, like it was like the Batman Lego games, and then they started adding everyone else, and oh, I think it's just called Superheroes, DC Comics Superheroes.
Oh, yeah, yeah, these. Yeah, these like really short ones. Oh yeah, I've seen some of these.
Damn, there's a bunch of these. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Well, technically I've only seen one, and it's Batman B Leaguered.
yeah. Nice. And I mean, also like the Lego Batman movie is amazing,
Oh yeah, Lego
and
Batman movie's
it
great.
sucks that we haven't got a sequel.
Dude, I started coming up years ago. I came up with a pitch to do a Lego Batman 2 that was essentially going to do what Lego Batman did, but it was going to repair Batman's reputation with Superman.
Oh,
Um,
interesting. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Because if the Lego Batman movie is all about why Batman needs Robin and the rest of the Bat family, I wanted Lego Batman 2 to be why Batman needs Superman.
Okay.
And
I like
and
that.
and of course, I think the pairing of Will Arnett and Channing Tatum as Lego Batman and Lego Superman, I think that's comic gold right there.
Hmm.
You know? So yeah, do that. Warner
But
Brothers, hire me.
the non or like the non big name ones, like the smaller Lego films,
Yeah.
that cast is pretty good too.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
they switch around a lot. Like Troy Baker does Batman a lot.
yeah, he also plays Joker. I don't know if he
Yeah.
plays Joker in the Lego world, but he plays Joker a lot.
Hmm.
I think Travis Willingham was Superman in one of them. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, he does that a lot. He in some of the later non-Lego DC animated ones, he
He
also
did
plays Superman.
Superman, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So, but I
yeah,
think he was
yeah.
Lego Superman first.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
And of course, if you watch any of the Lego Marvel stuff, Travis Willingham is just Thor. He's always Thor.
Dude, he plays Thor a lot, and Liam O'Brien plays Doctor Strange a lot. I don't know if
Yeah.
he's Lego Doctor Strange though,
Hmm.
but Laura Bailey plays Black Widow a lot,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
think she's in the Lego one as well.
yeah, yeah. She plays Lego Black Widow.
Dang, dude.
In the one that I saw, Travis is Thor, Laura is Black Widow, and Liam gets like a maybe 2 minute role as Red Skull.
Oh,
As
they're
soon as I heard him speak, I was like, "That's Liam O'Brien."
they were also in uh the Marvel Avengers game.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I'm trying to think who else. Like I know Taliesin Jaffe, the critical role cast is all over
yeah.
superheroes. Taliesin Jaffe plays the Flash in the Injustice games.
Hmm.
All right, that's cool. Um, and Ashley Johnson was in the Avengers film.
I know, and she was in the Lego Avengers video game.
Oh yeah, they made a Lego of her. That's
Yeah, they
right.
made a Lego of her. I'm like, that's so
Now
cool.
here's the thing: we need Marisha Ray to play superhero. Matt
Yes,
Mercer played Superman in a cartoon series.
really.
It's kind of hard to find because I don't know what it was, but it was like a kid show.
Hmm.
I think it might have only been like online only.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
because
gonna have to scroll through that man's IMDb credits because,
yeah,
and I've done that before.
yeah,
So,
and
um,
he's a long IMDb.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Well, that was
now that
fun.
we're all tired,
Yeah. Now that we're tuckered out,
tuckered out, ready
let's
to
talk
end the
about,
pod.
yeah, in the pod. Speaking of the pod, uh, let's talk about what we're here for. That's right, everyone. We're talking about Andor, season 1, episode 3, Reckoning, in which Cassian's desperation to avoid arrest leads him to a mysterious man with unknown connections.
Yep.
So what'd you think?
This is what I'm talking about, man. I
Yep.
absolutely love this.
Yep.
Now, I'm just going to say this once to get it out of the way because we've been saying it over and over with the first two episodes. Uh, we don't understand why these were three episodes and why this wasn't just like a movie or one long episode.
Yeah.
Um, because now that we have like these first three over and it's like one big chapter, I could say as much as I love this episode, it doesn't justify the first two. Like there's
Okay.
again absolutely zero reason those first two episodes are standing alone, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If okay, it's one thing to release your show in 3 episode chunks, but if that's how it's meant to be consumed, something is wrong.
Yeah.
Because us, well, you've seen it before, but me, someone who's watching them one a week, like it's just not. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
it's not enjoyable, but I'm like, it's hard. It's hard.
And
This is the
yeah.
first one. I'm always excited to sit down and watch the show because I'm liking it so far. But this is the first one where it ended. I was like, hell yeah, I got what I wanted.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it was the thing, I think I talked about it last week and I just wanted to bring it up again. That like again, we've seen shows release, 3 episodes at a time.
Yeah.
Legends of Vox Machina does that.
Yeah.
Arcane did that. And again, it works for those shows because if you're sitting there watching all 3 episodes as they release, it's like, hey, that's great. That's a great night right there. Again, you're essentially getting like a little movie, but every single one of those episodes is its own story and stands by itself.
Mhm.
Whereas every single episode of Andor so far has not necessarily been able to do that. They're
Yeah.
all 3 episodes are part of the same story. It's literally act 1, act 2, act 3.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, I love the show, but I think that's its biggest detriment is that if I'm meant to sit here and watch all 3 of these, then I don't like that they're edited in a way where they feel like just 3 separate episodes when they're
Mhm.
really not.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking, like, how do you share this with someone as well? Because, like, those other shows you mentioned, you could just watch one a week.
Yeah,
They could have
we
aired it
did.
that way and it would have been fine,
Yeah.
you know? Uh, but for this, like just this is my opinion. I don't think you can watch this one a week. Well, I take that back because I am watching it one a
We
week.
are watching it one a week.
But
It's
like I'm
just a
having
little
trouble.
difficult. Yeah.
I'm having trouble with it. And like it's just it's really weird because all of my issues with Andor isn't actually coming from the show Andor.
Yeah.
It's coming
Yeah.
from the way it's released, you
Yeah.
know? And that's weird. That's so it's taking something that's really kind of from the outside in.
Hmm.
You could say, my problem is the way it's edited or the way these stories aren't complete. You could say that, but it's just like now that we have the first three, it's like that's the solution. It's all there. Like they
Hmm.
have something that works. It's just that they decided to I don't know if we weren't there behind the scenes, so I don't know if
Yeah.
they always had planned these to be individual episodes or if they had something larger and then they decided to break it up. I do know the show was originally supposed to be 5 seasons.
Yeah.
That didn't happen, so they ended up like condensing it all, so I honestly don't know. um it's just kind of perplexing because there's no other show in TV history that I'm aware of that's doing this.
Hmm.
you know, because one, it's rare. We're seeing it more and more, but it's rare to have a show drop 3 episodes at a time. It's either all at once or one a week.
Yeah.
But then the fact that like the way they're telling the story is banking on you watching them three at a time,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's weird. Normally it's like they're banking on you watching one at a time.
Hmm.
But it's yeah, so I don't know, man. It's just it's so bizarre. Like it's crossing the lines between like the creative side of telling a
And the
story
and the
and
business
the
side.
business. And I it's so hard to explain if you're not watching this show. So if you haven't seen it, you're just listening to us. Sorry, but
Sorry.
but yeah, like I'm finding it hard to explain because I don't really know what's going on. Like
Yeah.
so I don't know, but now that that's said, I really have no complaints about this episode. This is a solid, probably some of my favorite Star Wars I've ever seen. I'm like,
Hmm.
awesome. I loved it. The action was so good. I love the characters. I love Cassian Andor and who's the Stellan? What's his name?
Oh, I don't think they've said his name yet,
Okay,
but his name is
it's
oh, do
Stellan
you
Skarsgård.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I really like. that I like that dynamic. They don't trust each other yet, and I'm like, this is cool. The whole shootout with like the giant metal pieces falling. I'm like, dude, this is
Mm-hmm.
rad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love, the sergeant leading the guys. And who's the nerd? What's his name?
A Cyril.
Cyril. That's right. I'm liking Cyril a lot. Like he's like the character you love to hate, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So and that's what I was talking about. Like I don't know if I fully explained last week, but uh Cyril, I want him to be a big bad.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if we're watching the story of Cassian become this rebel who becomes like this rebel leader who ignites the fall of the empire, it's kind of cool that we're also seeing Cyril's story going the
Mm-hmm.
opposite route. He's technically in the empire, but he's like third party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's the
Yeah.
security guard. So um it's like a mall cop trying to lead a fascist party. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
So I I like that he's goofy. He's a nerd. He doesn't really know what he's doing. He's really like outside of his element here. He's really biting off more than he can chew. But I like how he's not like afraid of it. Like you could tell
Mm-hmm.
he's scared, but he's like keeps pushing, and I'm like, yes, I
Yeah.
want this guy to be a big bad. I don't. I outside of Vader, outside of the Sith, I don't know if we really have big bads in Star Wars. Like I guess Thrawn, but I haven't really seen Ahsoka or anything like that. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
Boba Fett was a henchman for the longest time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
I
it's kind of like once you get like away from the Empire, there aren't because like the Empire is the big bad, and everybody
yeah,
involved.
yeah, but I
But
mean like
but
a
like yeah,
antagonist, like a villain.
yeah, yeah,
I and I say this because Cyril is this kind of goofy guy. He but it's not played for laughs, and that's what I like.
yeah.
I don't want this guy to become another General Hux,
Mm-hmm.
and which was just a waste of an opportunity and a good actor, you know.
Agreed.
So I really want if Cassian becomes like this rebel leader, I want Cyril to become like a really bad, like just an imperial. I want him to become the guy that Bill Burr kills in Mando season two. You
Oh yeah,
know,
yeah,
just the guy who played the Nightwalker guy.
yeah.
Like yeah, I just like make this guy give me something evil.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's gonna happen, but I want the Sarge to turn coat and turn good. He's still alive so far, so I'm like, all right,
So far he's still alive as of
yeah,
episode 3. Yeah, we'll see. We'll
yeah.
see.
So, but everything, man, like all these security guys, I love how just like cocky and arrogant they were, and I like how they talk about that. I love that conversation between Cassian and Stellan, and he's like, Basic was super easy to steal that thing that you just walk in. And Stellan was like, yeah, it's the arrogance, right? They never think that we're strong enough to oppose them.
Mhm.
And sure enough, dude, if you look at the guards, I love the scene where they use like the fake speeder
Yeah.
to escape. And the guys are just like, they're standing put, like they were gonna get hit by it. And
Hmm.
I was like, dude, these guys are like, man, it's like they're not incompetent, which is good. They're not, these guys aren't stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Stormtroopers are incompetent.
They're not
These,
classic stormtrooper. Yeah.
yeah, these guys like they're definitely arrogant. They're standing their ground. But then like the fact that they leave the little ship, it's just open.
Hmm.
And I'm like, oh, I like that's the arrogance again. And sure enough, that young dude gets taken out, blows
Yeah.
up the ship. I was like, yep, yep.
Yep. Yep.
All those little things, man. And I love how God, I loved how the city starts like preparing and they're just banging on the metal,
Yeah.
And I thought like, oh, it's a warning system, but then the sergeant's like, it's intimidation. They're trying to get to us and blah blah blah. I was like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, that's good. And it
Yeah.
goes the whole time. And then Andor's mom is saying like, what you really need to be afraid of is when it stops. And then the guy's like, why? What happens? What happens when it stops? And she just like leans back and
Hmm.
enjoys it. And I'm like, oh oh, she never says. I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
I'm like, dude, that's just some damn good writing, man.
Yep.
Um, yes, I love all of that. I love Cyril, quote unquote, meeting Cassian. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, dude.
Yeah.
Um, Tim, Tim, he died how he lived.
Yep.
A bitch. Man, I
Yeah,
thought I was
man.
expecting more from him, but no, jealous, just a jealous dude. I'm like, that
And
sucks.
like, yeah, yeah. It is like, yeah, you died how you lived in arrogance and incompetence.
Yeah.
And
And even with all his faults,
yeah,
he could have walked out of that situation alive.
yeah,
Like, like
yeah.
there's nothing to gain from like charging those guys. Like, I get it was an act of passion. He saw Bix all chained up,
Yeah,
and I'm
she's chained
like,
up, she's bloody. It's like obviously like it's a very human reaction.
mm-hmm,
And it's like that's one of the great things about the show is that like it treats all of its characters, even the characters who don't do things that we like,
yeah,
because I won't say that I hate Tim. It's
no,
just like he's he's a jealous dude who made a bad call and it screwed up a lot of things.
yeah.
Uh
And we
but
see his guilt with that. It's
yeah,
different if it just kind of cuts, but
yeah,
no, like
yeah.
we see him dealing with that.
Yeah, and I feel like in maybe any other show, like if this was made in, like the 90s or the early 2000s, maybe, Tim would have eventually come back and like been a character, redeemed himself, like,
Mm.
oh, we get a little buddy buddy, like him and Andor become best friends or something.
I'm
But
gonna
that's not
disagree with you on that.
reality.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that.
Okay.
I was gonna say that's kind of I wouldn't say modern, but like the way it used to be is nope, this is a jealous guy. No character growth for him. And I'm gonna
Ooh, okay.
I feel
That's true.
like that's what we got. And I was kind of disappointed by that. I was like, oh man. But at the
Mm.
same point, it's like that's literally Tim's little storylines like the least important to me out of these first three episodes. I'm like, well, that sucks, but it's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's motivation for Bix, I guess. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, because I was thinking, like maybe he would become buddy buddy, or maybe he does have a bigger backstory um to Bix, or maybe a different like he knows, like we really don't know how any of these people have met. They're kind of
Hmm.
just living in the same city together.
Hmm.
So I thought maybe there's a chance of that, but no. And the fact that he assesses the situation, and then he still lunges forward. I'm like, all right, dude, you're just an idiot,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
To be fair though, those corporate authorities, like they're overstepping their bounds, like
Yeah.
well, I mean, and they prove that, like they told Marva that they had a warrant, so obviously legally, quote unquote, they can go in. But when B shows up and Marva's trying to say like they can't intimidate you, like Cyril turns around and tells him like shut her up, and they just they put a hand over her mouth. It's like that's illegal. You can't do that. You can't
That's where I'm
you can't
like,
detain people in their home. Like these dudes are scary because like they are tactically competent,
mhm,
but it is because they are. It's it, it's the cop thing, dude. It's like you have the gun, you have the armor, that means that you're the hoss. You can do whatever the fuck you want,
yeah, yeah,
and you can't.
yeah,
That's just the thing. Like you can't. Like, but they think they have the authority. They think because they're
hmm,
minorly part of the empire that gives them carte blanche to do whatever they want, and
hmm,
that's exactly why they get lit up at the end of this episode. It's their arrogance, their incompetence, their overreaching of authority is why an entire town has an early warning system, has an
hmm,
intimidation system, and as and has such camaraderie. This is what we mean when we're talking about community, where it's like we've seen nothing to say that any of these people are part of the rebellion, that any of these people know
right,
anything about what it's like to resist or live under totalitarian regime. The second that uh that shop owner runs up to the to this little metal thing and starts banging on it, everybody drops, everybody assesses, and everybody starts hunkering down and
Hmm.
and joining in. It's like that's all you need to know. I don't need to know the history of this place. I don't need to know every single
Yeah.
person's story. I already know that this town has seen its share of plight
Yeah.
and intolerance, and they are prepared. They don't
Hmm.
even really know what's happening. They just know that the corpos are coming and they're going to mess something up. We
Like
have to protect ourselves.
it's
Like, and
just
that's also brilliant writing.
it's the little like acts of community and resistance that kind of led to this whole victory, if that's what you want to call it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, Andor gets away.
and it's just like I'm watching it this whole time, and I'm just kind of like just reminded of like everything we're seeing right now online and stuff of how like like there's no differing of politics when it comes to what's going on. Like what we're seeing is a rise of authoritarianism and fascism
Hmm.
and like there's no argument against it. Like that's what's happening. The
Yeah.
evidence is literally in our face. And uh still like everyone's still fighting, you know. A lot of times it feels like there's not a lot fighting going on. It feels like we're just watching a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
happening. But then at other times, other weeks we actually do see more of it, like the protests and things like that. And I'm like, well, what are protests doing, But we're still seeing people uh one of my big things about the Democrats, man, is just like I feel like they don't got their shit together, So like
Yeah.
seeing the past couple months, all these Democrats I've never even heard of are like stepping up and speaking out,
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like this is awesome. Like these are the people we need to be voting for. Um and then also, there's man, there's like Trump appointed judges who are opposing him because
Yeah.
of whatever reason, I don't know, but they're doing their job, and it's unfortunately in this day and age, in what's going on right now, that's surprising, you
Yeah,
know?
it's this thing of like you in this day and age, doing your job is the act of resistance
Yeah, exactly.
because they're being actively told to not do their job. They're being actively told to disregard all of these other things. So when people who are in those positions are like, no, that's not the law. That's not my
Yeah.
job. It's like, yeah, yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah.
And it
Um,
shouldn't be. That's kind of the crazy thing. It's like it's powerful and it shouldn't be because that's just your job. That's the
it's like the
job you
bare
were
minimum,
hired
right?
for.
It seems like
Yeah,
the bare
yeah,
minimum,
yeah,
but like
exactly.
where everything is so like heightened right now and volatile, it's just like, wow, man, it does feel like this act of resistance.
Yeah,
So to me, like this whole episode, I was just kind of thinking about that, man, just thinking about like how I mean, I guess to sum it up, community, What
yeah.
is that? What does that mean to us in reality, in the real world? And
Hmm.
it just came out of the episode just feeling really good and hopeful. However, my prediction still stands the same. Like bad things are gonna happen. I think this isn't the end of this little world we've seen. Now that
Yeah, of
Cassian's escaped.
Ferrex. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. What's it called,
yeah.
Ferrex?
Yes, Ferrex.
Yeah, so now that Cassian's escaped, I think bad things are gonna come to this little town. So,
It's a thing that I feel like I again, I feel like I said this in episode 1 and I might keep saying it for the rest of the show. Uh but the way events unfold in this show
hmm
is again might be hyperbolic but it's masterful and they unfold in a way that I don't think I've seen in a
hmm
long time because it is like you can essentially trace every single thing that happens in this show to Cassian going to Morlana 1 and killing those two security guards. Like
yeah,
every single thing is
yeah,
traceable back to that moment. And it's kind of blowing and baffling when you think about it. Just like, holy crap. If
yeah.
that hadn't happened, Cassian maybe wouldn't have ever joined up with the rebels.
And that's what I was thinking. That's why going back to episode one, like I Andor episode 1, not the Phantom Menace.
Oh,
Um,
which I did also watch this weekend. Yeah.
just going back and seeing that, like I said it then too, like I like how it wasn't just like this isn't a thing he does. We're seeing
Yeah.
him like before, like I don't know if he's ever killed anyone before.
Hmm.
This might have been the first time,
Hmm.
but he
It
even
didn't
knows,
seem like it, but yeah.
right? It didn't seem like it. He seems very capable, but he realizes what he's done.
Yeah.
These are the first Empire people he's killed before.
Yeah.
you know. And then now we get a little more with his backstory as a kid and stuff, and we see, okay, like this is a scrapper. He's got to fight to survive ever since he was a kid. So I get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of see now that we have these first 3 episodes, I see what like that kid's flashback was, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, that wasn't enough
Hmm.
to really do a full episode on its own. But I am kind of curious, like, well, what about the rest of the kids?
Yeah.
And how does the sister come back in? Like, how does he find her again?
Hmm.
So, yeah.
So, so talking a little bit behind the scenes, uh, Rogue One, Cassian as like a huge point to talk to like pull Felicity Jones's character, Jin,
Mhm,
as part of a big pull to like pull her in to the fight and like, like be just like, hey, like we have to hunker down and do this. This is the job. He has a line where he says that he's been in this fight since he was 6 years old.
mm,
And for a lot of fans, once they started watching Andor, they were like, "Well, wait a second. If he's already an adult and he's not part of the rebellion, like
yeah.
that mean that like we're retconning Rogue One a little bit."
Yeah.
And uh I disagree completely.
I disagree too, because
Yeah.
the Empire was already on that planet.
Yeah.
Those
And
kids were fighting on their own.
yeah. And it's kind of a thing too. Like those kids didn't know who they were fighting. Like that's their
Hmm.
home world. Like they
Hmm.
didn't know, like the Empire was gone at that
Hmm.
point. And, you know, but that's kind of the thing where it's like it is indigenous populations that are being used and abused and brutalized by these overreaching companies and authorities, and basically getting left to die.
Hmm.
And it's sort of a thing where it's like, without realizing it, Cassian has been fighting the Empire since he was a child.
Yeah.
Even if he went a large stint without necessarily like, killing them, gunning them
Hmm.
down and stuff like that, even him stealing the Starpath unit is fighting against the Empire,
Yeah.
and it's the thing I didn't want to gloss over it. I really wanted to like get into it where he tells Stellan Skarsgård like, you know because he's like, how did you get in? He's like, I just walked in. He's like, it's not that simple though, is it? He's like,
Hmm.
what's simple about it? Like, what else do you need? You need dirty hands and a tool belt.
Hmm.
They can't fathom somebody like me coming into their house. And one, I feel like on the one hand, it's like it's very, just speaking within like the Star Wars terms, it's like, yeah, obviously like the Empire is so arrogant, like they won't recognize that. But speaking on a realistic level, let's not mince words. Diego Luna is a Latino man. He's brown,
Hmm.
he's a child of immigrants. How much more pointed do you need to get, than say it was so easy for me, a worker,
Yeah.
go into this house and take this thing because I dressed up as a worker. Because
Yeah.
there aren't people that look like me in positions of authority. There aren't
Hmm.
people that look like me making the decisions. Like I am the person who does the manual labor, and that's
Hmm.
why I could steal from you. And it's like, again, it's the arrogance in Star Wars. I don't know if it's necessarily a thing, but like, lifting the veil. It's like the racism of it all. It's like playing into that and being
Hmm.
able to just do this. It's like, yeah, I like it. It was great and it was affirming for me. And, I know like a lot of people like try to like snide eyed, like when people say representation matters,
Hmm.
but it does because we have this Latino man leading this series on one of the biggest streaming platforms in the world. in one of the biggest, most watched franchises in the world, and telling a story that does not shy away, even if they never outwardly say it, but not shying away from, a lived experience, or a real experience of being, a brown man in
Hmm.
America, or, a brown man in Mexico, or any place where, you are, for all intents and purposes, the minority.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
also think in Star Wars, we've never really, this could sound weird, we've never really seen the oppression, you know? Like we see the Empire marching around, blowing up
Mm,
planets.
hmm
You could make the argument that like the droids in episode one, you know,
mm.
but like Star Wars has always been told from like the hero's perspective. We've never really seen from
Well,
from the
like a
ground
like a
level.
like a civilian perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I think that's why I'm digging this so much too, because like we're actually seeing like, okay, well, what does life under the Empire look like?
Yeah.
You know? Luke was gonna join. Like he didn't really
hmm
feel the effects,
hmm
because
No,
he was so far out.
Luke was going to join the rebellion.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, dude. Like
I don't
he
remember.
said he was going to join the rebellion. Yeah.
Because I knew he wanted to be a pilot, so he wanted to be a rebel pilot.
Yeah.
Okay, so they knew about the rebellion on Tatooine then.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
far, but they're not. They're far from the Empire, but not far from the rebel. Okay, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right.
And again,
Well,
that's the thing. Like I feel like after Andor, Imperial control spreads outwards, even to
mhm,
places like Tatooine. It's like if
mhm,
they're not going to do it on a backwater like this planet, before, there's no reason for them to be on Tatooine.
yeah,
But because of Andor, it's like, nope, now we're going to put Imperials everywhere. Everywhere we have a presence, we're
yeah.
putting stormtroopers, we're doing all that. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
Scary stuff.
scary stuff.
Yeah, dude, I love Stellan's staff. That's like a
Yeah.
lightsaber handle, man. Like, is this guy like a former Jedi or something? Because that's a lightsaber handle. You know?
Yeah.
Is that Beskar? Like, what the hell is that thing, man?
It seems like Beskar, you
Hmm.
know? Oh, dude, just shout out to Stellan Skarsgård because he has that presence. He, as the kids say, aura.
Hmm.
Uh, but he can back it up, and he, straight up, is playing, like the arms dealer
Yeah,
right up until he doesn't need to, and it's like, no, it's like I came here for the star path, and I'll leave with that if that's all I can get.
yeah,
But I think I found what I'm looking for. It's like, yeah, dude, he's recruiting.
yeah,
It's like, I love that moment. I love that line where, he's just like, don't you want to fight these bastards for real? It's
yeah.
like, yeah, man.
So that's kind of what I want to get back into as well, like Cassian's fight, because he even says you watched your father hung in the square. I'm like, okay, who's his father? Is it the other guy who was with the lady?
Yes.
Well, okay. Well, thanks for telling me.
Oh,
But
well, I mean, like Marva, like we already know, Marva's not his mom. Marva was a scavenger.
yeah, that's true.
You know that.
I like I'm not sure. I wasn't sure like how much that guy like stuck around or what.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay.
but
Sorry about that.
yeah. So well, okay. Well, that answers that. Um,
um, yeah, but I think it's interesting. There's definitely more to say about that. We'll get more. We'll get to that later.
yeah.
On. Um, but yeah, it's like even people like Marva. It's like fighting the Empire in their own way. She's a scavenger. She's stealing from an Imperial wreckage.
Hmm.
And doesn't want to leave a kid to die
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
she even called it out. It's like there's a body out there that's got a bunch of arrows in it. Like they're gonna come. They're
Yeah.
gonna try and find who did that. So
Hmm.
I'm not gonna let this kid die.
I love
Uh,
the whole sequence of the kid walking through, like,
yeah.
because the
Oh
camera's on
man.
him, and I love how like claustrophobic it feels. And then once he
hmm
walks into like that main chamber, it camera pulls back and you actually see like the Imperial paneling and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, that's
Yeah.
rad.
And he gets to see himself for the first time. And like,
That's interesting because he lives on a lake.
Yeah, he lives on a lake. I think it's different though when you like, you
And like a
know,
reflection versus like the water reflection, like
yeah, yeah, and
yeah,
especially something so like this feels pretty like foreign. You know,
yeah,
like they truly are like an indigenous tribe. Like they
hmm,
doesn't look like they have a lot of like high-tech technology, you know?
yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
stuff to process water, but like yeah, like so to
yeah,
see a ship like this and to see yourself reflected in that, you know, like that's got to be strange, you know?
yeah,
And I think it's the fact too, like maybe going through his head at that moment, it's like seeing myself in this thing. This is so wondrous. It's so big. It's so, you know, foreign.
yeah,
And it was exciting at first, but somebody I know died.
yeah,
This was the cause of that, you know, and having that rage at it. And it's like, yeah. And then you know, want
yeah.
to destroy everything in sight.
So yeah, I need to know more about like this group of kids because like how long was the empire gone? Because there's no adults.
Yeah.
So, like how long ago did the empire pack up and leave? How long were these kids on their own? How did they survive on their own? Like these are all the things I want to know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So we'll see. Because now I'm really interested to see things from the little sister's perspective. What happens
Yeah.
after Cassian leaves? What's his real name? You
Uh,
know,
oh, well,
like,
she said it. It's the title of the first episode. Casa.
oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's calling after him. It's like Casa. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I guess we can
Cassian. Yeah.
Cassian.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
You know,
okay.
you know, they've what like anglicized his name,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
Anglicanized his name.
Yeah.
Whatever the a form of that is in Star Wars.
Well, I'm excited for next week. And now this is going to be interesting because like this batch is done. So
Hmm.
it's going to be interesting to see episode 4. Are we going to jump back into like the starting of like a new kind of story? Am I going to have the same issues as I did with like episodes 1 and 2? Or is it just going to start to feel more seamless? We're going to have to find out next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. We will find out next week when we talk about Andor season 1, episode 4, Aldani. Out of options, Cassian is recruited for a dangerous mission. That's all I'll say.
Nice. I will say, I loved absolutely everything about this. I loved how this is really a writing thing, but how we knew where everything was happening through this whole action scene. Like, dude, as soon
Oh,
as like
absolutely.
the ships start coming down, like it's nonstop, but like the way the sergeant keeps calling out the positions, east team, west team. I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
without
Hmm.
seeing a map or a bird's eye view, I know where each storyline is taking place.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait a minute, if they blew up that thing, that means they're behind us. And I totally understood tactically everything that was happening,
Hmm.
and to me it just enhanced the intensity of what's going on, and it just made everyone feel trapped. And I was like, oh dude, I'm like, this is
Hmm.
brilliant, man. Um so yeah, I love that. um the look of the friend who chained up that ship, and he's just drinking by alone by himself at the end. I'm like, yeah,
Hmm.
that's how I
Hmm.
feel. He knows there's gonna be, he's gonna have to
Yeah, it's
pay
like
for that, or
this
someone
is
will.
this is just the beginning, you know.
Yeah. And
Yeah. Yeah.
lastly, the music was so rad. I'm like,
Yep.
yes, dude.
Yep. Music
So
is on point. It slaps.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's super
So
great. Uh to wrap things up,
yeah.
uh one last thing that unfortunately I have to spoil. But going back to Lego,
uh,
I want to introduce to you the first, and as of right now, only Andor exclusive Lego set
really?
from this episode.
Oh wow.
It is the Ambush on Ferrix Lego set. Uh,
That's so
uh,
rad.
per this little ad on Amazon, play out a thrilling ambush on planet Ferrix. Two cool vehicles from Star Wars and/or action play. Features a mobile tac pod and speeder bike. Digital instructions make building extra fun. Three Star Wars Andor characters for role play. And the
Hmm.
three Andor characters that you can get are Cassian, Stellan Skarsgård,
Hmm.
and can't necessarily tell. I also didn't get it. I just took screenshots of this. Um, but I'm pretty sure it's Cyril.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it comes with the pod, the security pod, and the speeder bike, and those three characters
Hmm.
retails $85 on Amazon and Walmart.
Jeez. Yeah.
And that's it. That is the only Andor Lego set that we have. And I'm telling you this now
Hmm.
because there are so many other things that I was thinking of while I was watching the show. I didn't even know this existed until I saw the Lego Star Wars visual dictionary
Uh-huh.
and I saw a little Cassian in there like on the cover. I was like, "Hey, cool. Diego Luna's a Lego on, the Lego Star Wars book. That's so rad."
Yeah.
I went looking through the book and the book presents itself in timeline order.
Hmm.
So I was like, cool. After I do the prequels, I'm gonna get to Andor and Rogue One. And that was the only playset they had.
Mm.
And I'm like, what? I don't understand. And
Yeah.
it's a gripe that I have. And
Yeah.
I don't know why, but Lego, I need more.
Yeah.
I need more. And there are gonna be several more. And you'll be just as upset as I am by the time this season ends. I guarantee it.
Hmm. Damn. Yeah. Um, I think I'm gonna have to go like and watch like these first three. Like I want to see people's reactions online, see what they thought.
Oh yeah,
Um,
there are a bunch.
I like
Yeah.
watching Blind Wave. They're pretty good. They love Star Wars, so I want to check theirs out.
Mhm.
Target audience doesn't have one, but I know Alex loves Andor, and he's in the same boat I am, where I'm just like, I love Star Wars for the longest time, but now I've just like fallen out of love with it. I'm just like not really into it.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm really jaded by it, if we're gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah.
frank. But yeah, he loves Andor. And so I'm like, I don't know, man. So far, so good. So we're going in the right direction. We're in the green right now. So I'm like, all right,
Love it, and I
let's get
love to
this
hear
roller
that.
coaster going. So yeah, yeah.
Well, to that end, listeners, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for sticking through. Hopefully, if you are on the fence like Matt, hopefully this latest episode changed your opinion on that.
Hmm.
And we'll be back next week talking about episode 4. Until then, tell us some of your favorite parts. Did you agree, with everything that we said about these 3 episodes? What other Star Wars Lego set are you thinking of? No spoilers, please. But what other Andor Lego set would you want? Let us know. And you can let us know by tagging us. Hashtag Lost Legacies. We're on every platform except for Twitter. You can find us, all those places. Hashtag us and we'll find it. And you can find me on Instagram, BluSky, and Threads at Real. That's REEL Texas Weirdo.
And I'm on Instagram and Threads at Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch and on BluSky at Matthew Jimenez.
All right, everyone. Good night, sweet dreams, and until next time,
Get lost.
get lost.